Are we going live? Okay, it says I'm live. I hope I'm live. Okay, Penny Myers, can you give me something in the chat if you can see and hear me? Okay. Now that may have been there for a while yet because I set that up early. I don't know if it works if I set it up early. So I'm going to give a hot minute or a while now to get people to come over. And here, let me do this. Do, There we go. I'm smaller. It's larger. Okay. Okay, so Cheryl and Spreading Sunshine. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Tommy, can you hear me? Okay. Can you see or and hear? Awesome. Okay, and you can hear me? Hello? Okay, awesome. Thank you. Because remember what happened yesterday? Remember what happened? Okay, good. Thank you, people. Notice my nervous system was like, oh my God, what if they can't see me? the that good. Yay. Good stuff, people. Okay, thank you. Because yesterday, as some of you may remember, there were technical difficulties. Now, the technical difficulties from yesterday, the good news was about that was that it got me to hop back onto TikTok. And then I realized TikTok hasn't gone away. I'm going to show up there. Okay. But I will never stop showing up. Well, I don't want to say never. That's very declaratory. I will continue to show up on YouTube because you know what? Not everybody follows over from TikTok. So the neat thing is I'm welcoming. I will make room for every single person who is on TikTok and more. You know what I mean? This is the great thing about the internet. It's not just being in a conference room. It's expandable. Okay. Oops. Trying to get the but there's room for everybody here. But typically, what happens is not everybody wants to make the switch. So it's a smaller, cooler group, you know, because you guys are cool. I will share this with you. I have so much admiration for the people who show up on YouTube, and I will tell you why. Because there are people who follow me on TikTok who, for whatever reason, say they can't. They don't know how. They can't find me. There are so many reasons slash excuses for not learning a new skill and finding out what they want. And so you guys have shown extra dedication, okay, in hopping over to YouTube and becoming comfortable with this resource. I love people who are of a growth mindset, who say, I'm going to figure it out, as opposed to, I don't know. And then they just stop. So, yay for every single one of y'all. Okay. Heather MC, I love it. McDugs and Farm Girl and Sue and Sherry. No, I love it. Louise is on a roll. She liked this. She's got a checklist, much like, uh, oh crap, I can picture it. Scheduled Beth Blinders, Kat Roby, right? List for today written down. More donations out the door and in the car. Yeah, there we go. We'd follow you anywhere. Okay, I love that, but don't follow me all the time because that'd be kind of creepy. You know, all of a sudden you're peering in the window. But I get what you're saying. Yeah, I love it. So, very good stuff, you guys. Very good stuff. Now, I'm assuming, and you know what they say? If you assume, you could make an ass of you and me. Um, I am assuming that most, if not all of you, are on the mailing list. If you're not, destinationdecluttered.com, sign up. I love it. Sherry Knighton is saying, I'm in the kitchen to clean while listening. Thank you. Love it. Have me be the background of the next hour or however much time you have to do some puttering and decluttering. And yes, not in a stalker way. It's cool. I get it. I get it. I'm just joshing. Why not use some of the time that I am doing this YouTube live for the next hour as an opportunity for you to do some surface decluttering? Stored decluttering and sentimental decluttering, especially, usually require a quieting down of somebody else's voice so you can hear your own. So I just want to offer to you that this is a great time to just get your body in motion. You know, there's one thing about just passively allowing this to wash over you. At times that can be helpful. I love it when people listen to me and get some good decluttering done because it's time that's well spent. But if you're too tired and you don't want to, honor that. You do what's best for you. Now, Farm Girl is asking, when is your next decluttering party? I missed the last one. Okay. So the next decluttering party is tomorrow. Tomorrow. Tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you, tomorrow. It literally is only a day away, okay? And Sunday. Again, assuming that all of y'all are on the mailing list. Hopefully all of y'all got the email I sent out yesterday. Did you get the email? If you did, yay. If not, check a look at your spam filter. And if you seriously cannot find it, send me an email. Send me an email. Because here's the deal. There are some random email addresses that kind of get caught in the spam filter that my email provider thinks you're spam, and I know you're not, but I don't know if you're spam or not. Okay. So if you got the email, what you learned was I did a hell of a lot of setting myself up. I took time, I invested my time yesterday to set up what Destination Decluttered is going on in the next basically 3 weeks or so. Yay for the people who got the email. So you know, and I say this to you all because you all know if you're on the mailing list, even if you didn't look at the email, that is your indication to just check the secret page. Okay. And I will describe to you what you will find on the secret page. Okay. Secret page has got May 2025 declutter party dates. And here's a cool thing. Some of you who have been on the declutter parties in April, I shared the dates with you of the upcoming declutter parties. I added 2 more. I did change one start time, but I added 2 more. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Ladybug 12 at the Ladybug Picnic. No, there's not 12. There's only 6, but I like Ladybug Picnic. Such a cute song. There are 6 declutter parties between now and the end of May. You can get your tickets. They're live. You can download and print your habit tracker. Now, I found my one from Palm Springs as I was cleaning out. And I will admit, I have yet to even fill in mine, but today's the only second. I'm going to do this today. You can print that out. You can also schedule your one-on-one coaching consultation. And I share this with you because if you or somebody you know is really interested in doing paid one-on-one coaching with me, a coaching package, 10 sessions, an hour a week for 10 weeks or more, because I have people on multiple packages that just love it and they keep on going. There are now consultations available on my calendar. So you have first dibs. Okay. The other one is you can listen to the Destination Decluttered iTunes playlist, and you're going to notice that man, oh Manischewitz, are there a ton of TikTok lives and YouTube lives scheduled from today all the way through May 20th. So even if you didn't even look at the email, this is my message to you right now. Check out the secret page, and there's a wealth and abundance of resources that you don't need to do all of it. Pick what's right for you to help you continue going forward. Okay. Now, I love this. Now, Therapy Gal Sue says, I got up an hour early before work today to get donations ready for porch pickup tomorrow. I love that. Notice what a porch pickup is. It's when you have a place in your community that if you call them up and say, I've got some stuff, they will say, okay, we will come and pick it up for you. And what that can do is that can establish a certain kind of due date, a certain day of the week and time of day where you can work towards that destination porch pickup. And that can encourage you to get some things ready because you've got an external kind of promise to somebody that you'll have stuff ready when they show up for your porch. So yay, Sue. I got up an hour early before work today to get donations ready for porch pickup tomorrow. I'm going through winter clothes and linens. Awesome. Specific categories. Plan made from yesterday's email with the schedule. I love it. I'm all about making a plan. There we go. Heidi D got a notification I'm live. There we go. And I will be live for the next 50 minutes or so. My clock is a little bit off, right? Oh, I love that. LO says, just use the April habit tracker to see what worked and add some new habits I aspire to start and track for May. Yeah, have fun with it. You can continue on with what you did last month. Or you can play around and do it differently. I mix mine up sometimes, but I have learned for me and my habit tracker, or my habit tracker and I, that there are certain things that it really helps me to have the habit tracker to remind me to do. Okay. And I will look where I didn't do it. I will get curious. I will look in the rear view mirror. What did I do well on that I want to continue? Um, what did I, where are there some holes? And get curious about, I say holes, potholes, pavers and potholes. A paver is when you fill it in, a pothole is when you don't do it. No big deal. When did I not do that? What could I do different? Now, one of the things I'm going to do differently, so I'll share this with you, which is kind of fun. And I got this from one of my one on one clients who also shows up on YouTube and TikTok, is making it more colorful. So notice right here, I started doing the clutter. I started doing the filling it in because I've got my highlighters. I always have to make sure I know the word. I've got my highlighters, so I started doing it this way. You know what I'm going to do this month? I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to do like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, a little Roy G. Biv action going across this way. Because why the hell not? If things get too routiny, I can get bored. Sometimes it's okay. Sometimes there's structure, but flexibility. Now I have buy-in. I know that using a habit tracker works for me. So I will fill out this blank one for May. Now, how about you? I hope it helps. All right. Now, Melissa Garvey, good morning to you. Grateful to be in good company. We've got this. Yes, it's finally Fabulous Friday. Kim, I love how you have different names for every day. It's very cool. Okay. Going to work at being more consistent with the habit tracker. Okay, Judy Dukes. Judy Dukes, isn't it so funny that you could actually put on, you could be very meta, and I'm not talking Facebook and Instagram. You could be very meta and put one of your things on your habit tracker, which is to fill out the habit tracker on a daily basis. You could do that. You could. And then the neat thing is when you don't do it, and notice I say fill out. I don't say make it perfect. I've got potholes on mine, right? A pothole is just that. When you're driving along the road, if you hit a pothole, even if it makes your tire blow out, you don't just live there and say, oh, well, I guess I'm stuck here on the side of the road. No, you get help, you change your tire, and you move on. So I want to disrupt that notion of perfection. Even if every single thing on that day ends up being a pothole, that gives you an opportunity to stop and get curious. Why didn't I do any of those things yesterday? And don't be judgy, be curious. It's so funny, the cameras here are switched. So my right hand goes to the left where I see it, but I digress. The habit tracker allows you an opportunity to practice and reinforce habits because we are creatures of habit. Some habits are easily adoptable and they're ingrained, and other ones, I may be using a habit tracker for the rest of my life to track certain things. That is okay. I am cool with that. I don't think it's a failing to not have everything internalized. When I outsource things like this, it helps me. So I suggest to you to not beat yourself up if you don't do your habit tracker on a daily basis. What I would do though, instead of beating yourself up, replacing the beating yourself up with curiosity. Why didn't I? What is the sentence? What is the reason? What is the excuse? What is the reason I didn't do that thing yesterday? And again, curiosity, not judgment. I didn't. What can I think of yesterday that I didn't do? You know what? I've actually forgot to take my medicine at night. I take a pill before I go to bed because that's when the doctor said to take it. And it's something that I've only done for a year. And I often have to remind myself to do it. One of the reasons I didn't do it is because my evening routine, the selection of habitual things that I do in the evening isn't as ingrained as my morning routine because I'm more of a morning person. I may just start taking that pill in the morning. I don't think it makes a big difference. I will ask my doctor because I have a lot stronger. I start out the day strong and then I kind of at the end of the day. I have managed though to do more better things at night. So I get curious. And if it didn't work when I scheduled it, maybe I schedule it for some other time. I get curious. I say, oh, I didn't have time to do that. Did I not have time? Or did I choose to use my time doing something else? Yeah. And I will totally own up to being inconsistent with my evening habits when I'm like, screw that. I'd rather lay in bed and scroll on TikTok and look for the Gilded Age because I'm tired and I just don't feel like it. And that's okay. I will own the times. I will own the times that I did not do something because I bloody well didn't feel like it. Now, there are other times when even when I don't feel like it, I get up out of bed. Yeah, season 3. Yep, saw the things. Very funny. I don't like it as much as Downton. I don't, but I watch it because I like it's interesting. But I own it when I don't show up for myself and I try not to beat myself up about it. I say I made a choice. I made a choice to not come home after going to the movies and work for 4 hours to get all the stuff ready for midnight to it's like an arbitrary deadline. So get used to cutting yourself some slack and being cool with your decisions. Being cool with your decisions, okay? So notice that. Are you cool with your decisions or are you making yourself feel bad about your decisions? Own it, you know? Oh my God. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I'm going to turn over my phone so I can focus on you. Okay. So here's a really good insight. Judy, who said she hasn't used her thing a lot, says, I might put it somewhere else. It's on my desk, which I don't sit at very often, so I forget about it. Where is someplace that you are often? Where are the hot spots in your house that would help remind you to do that? I would say I have a hot spot in our kitchen where the tea mugs are and the tea bags are, and also it's near the cupboard where um, the vitamins are. So that it would be for me a good place to put it. Okay, there we go. Um, where is a better place? Notice, learn what could you do better next time? What could you do different slash better this month? Now, I am at my desk a wicked lot. So mine does tend to stay at my desk, and I like sitting at my desk. And my desk is my place where I do a lot of my paperworky stuff because I want to consolidate this stuff into this room and then kind of go do some lifing in my other parts of the house, much like Pop Tart Mama saying she's been lifing and we're doing well. Okay, yes, the kitchen would be the best. I'd see it all the time. Yes, and the seeing of something. Now, ADHD people and maybe just regular folks too, a visual reminder can do wonders. Oh, that's right. I have to do that. Oh, that's right. That's why we print this out. We don't just leave it up here, but we print it out and we write it down. Okay. So notice what did not work back then. Don't judge because judgment will shut down your problem solving brain because it feels bad. Instead, say, what could I do differently this time? And Judy is saying, "Oh yeah, the kitchen. I'll put it in the kitchen." Now, now the kitchen is a space. Where in the kitchen? Getting more specific, chunking it down, deciding on a home for your monthly habit tracker. Now remember, you all can download these from the secret page. Where is a place that you will see it? Because if you don't see it, even in the kitchen, it could be in the kitchen, but it could be a place you don't see it. Where is a place that you tend to see things? Is it hanging it on the fridge? Is it putting it on the table next to where you sit and drink your coffee? Now, Penny Myers says at the dining room table, but clear the dining room table is in the habit tracker. So, longer burger baskets to the rescue. I am so glad. I cannot tell you. I've learned about longer burger baskets from people who I clutter, I declutter coach with, and I love it when I hear people putting longer burger baskets into action, to using them as baskets and not just things you collect. Use what you have in your house. So I love that. Clear the dining room hat table is in the habit tracker. So yeah, maybe you could Penny, maybe you can declutter the the dining room table as we speak today. But notice, we are always finding a system that works for us. If what we did last time didn't work, okay, what can you do differently? What can you do differently in May to encourage you to do the things that a part of you knows that if you did it, you would feel better? Now, my habit tracker is all about vitamins and walking and exercise and drinking water and brushing my teeth, you know? Yay, farm girl, check the time and I think I can make it tomorrow. Cool. So the good news is about the declutter parties, you guys, just to know, I know for me, it helps me to forecast out about 3 weeks or so. Anything further than that, I want to allow space in my life for the unexpected delights. I don't want to overpromise and then be stuck in something that I regret. So, for example, I will commit when I publish something, when I share with you something scheduled, I will show up for it. That's me. So you know when I'll be there and I will be there. Okay. You, on the other hand, I want you to either, if that works for you, sign up for the declutter parties. If that, all of them, whichever ones you can do, sign up for them now. That may help you show up. Okay. Hey, painting of a duck. Nice to see you. However, if you don't know this weekend like there's a declutter party, and I'm just looking at the schedule. Like there's a declutter party scheduled for Saturday, May 31st. You may know what you're doing on that day. You may have no idea. I get that. I know myself because I've committed to doing a declutter party from 12 to 1:30 Eastern. I will be there for that time slot. Unless something so crazy comes up that it causes me to switch my gears. But when I make a promise to somebody, I really take that seriously. Okay. I say this to you to not have to make you schedule in advance like I do. I will be there. If you don't know until closer to that date if you're going to be available or not, that's okay. You can buy your tickets up to the time that the party starts. Okay. You know? And I love it. That one persona says, I hopped into a party a little late after a soccer game was canceled, but still super helpful, even though I was a little late. And again, the lateness, there's no late. There's no late. Okay. Oh, and longer burger baskets are just a brand of baskets that people collected back in the 90s and thousands and something. Okay. I just mean use what you have. Don't just have it sitting there gathering dust. Use what you have. It's a basket. Use it as a basket. Okay. But I want to talk to you about also with the decluttering parties, much like this. There's no late. You show up when you can show up and you stay for as long as you want, and then you leave when it makes sense for you. I am not taking attendance, except for hoping everybody that signed up remembers that it was there. And I don't hold you there and lock the door until you can't leave. No, this is all for what works best for you and for your schedule. So you show up, you drop in when you can, you use it for while we're there, and you leave when you want. Doesn't that feel better? Doesn't that sound like some I almost said rigidity. I don't like that. Some structure and some flexibility. Yeah. How about I did not arrive at the scheduled beginning time, but about 10 minutes later? Yes. And how about seriously, the only person really who truly needs to show up at the scheduled beginning time is me. Now, if you're able to show up at the beginning time, do it. If you wanna start right away, but if you can't, no big deal. I like to be flexible with the, um, the structure. I remember once, and this is a choice. My choice to be flexible with the structure of the declutter parties stems from having been not appreciative or not liking the rigidity of some structures. And I get maybe why people were doing it, but I didn't dig it. And so I flipped the bird to them. Okay. So I decide to do things differently. Okay. Because we're all adults here, right? I'm not trying to teach you something from school, you know? Yeah. Now, this is fun because Cheryl says, of course, I have a basket at hand, though I could put it to good use, but I may have to say so long to the basket. Yeah. Now, will always be, you will never, and I will pretty much say never with some pretty good conviction. You will never see me hawking some product, some container to say, buy this container to help you with your clutter. No, I am punk rock. I am DIY. I am creative, and I want you to be too. I want you to look around St. Anthony, look around. I want you to look around your house and get curious and creative and use what you have. Now, even if some of that using what you have is temporary, use what you have. I have decluttered into grocery bags. I have decluttered into old Amazon boxes. I have decluttered into milk crates. I have decluttered. I have used temporary containers to organize my stuff until I see the quality and quantity of what I have that I want to then store. And then I am in much better of a position to know the size and quality of container to use. So I'm good at that. And you notice I like containers. I mean, look at this. I've got stuff and I've got crap on the floor too here. But I have certain boxes that are the right color and the right size for these shelves, right? I have stuff in them, you know? And yeah, so please do not waste your money buying containers until you declutter, until you know what it is you want to save, where you want to store it, and what size and shape and whatever, you call that, like what it's made of is going to work best for you. This is one of the things I will be helping my husband with when the one, two, three, we've got like 5 or 6 shelving units in this hallway here. It's kind of funny because, as many of you know, we are working on our basement. We are working on our basement. I lied. We are paying somebody to do over the floor in the basement. And man, it's looking better. It's not even done yet. And it looks so much better than it has in the past 20 years. I am overjoyed, overjoyed. And I don't want to just put that same old junky son when we go back down the basement. So while things were there was a certain amount of decluttering that went on when we were bringing stuff up from the basement. Most of it is my husband's. And I am a lot more particular about containers. I like things to look good. And he's like, meh, whatever. However, when we take the things back down the basement, you bet your sweet Bippy that, and I've told him this, so I'm planting the seed with him, that we're going to take it down there low and slow. We're going to do another declutter and say, what is this item? Do you need it? If you want it, what's the category it belongs in? And then once we have a category and we see how many guitar pedals he has, how many old tapes that he has, we see the quantity of what he wants to keep, then we can come up with a container that fits what he has decided to save, a container that works well so he can easily find what he's looking for. Okay. um Now, here's a funny thing. Kimmy, I don't know where you live. I live in Eastern Pennsylvania, and we're using some local people. But I will share with you what worked for me was finding somebody trustworthy. Now we talked about okay, so Kentucky can't help you, but what I will offer to you is this process, okay? Trust. Trusting yourself, trusting other people, trusting the source. Trust is a huge important word. I learned this with my first marriage when my husband was a liar. He was not worthy of my trust. And I kept on giving him my trust and he did not prove worthy. What I offer to you and to everybody is when you are looking for people to work with, heck, it would be me too. Are they trustworthy? Are they worthy of trusting to do a good job with what I want them to do? How do you find that out? You look for what other people who have worked with them say. You look for testimonials. You look for people's recommendations. I would never recommend somebody that I would not, because when you recommend somebody, your reputation is on the line as a trustworthy person. So if you want a basement person in your neighborhood, start to look, ask your neighbors. Don't go for advertisements, but go for that kind of organic word of mouth type of thing. Now, how we found the person that worked on us? We went to the local like Facebook page that's like you're from Phoenixville when and I said, "Hey, does anybody know somebody who does concrete work?" And people recommended a variety of places. And then we called some and some worked out and some didn't. Yeah, but here's the great thing, I didn't know any basement personas, right? But some people have. Some people in your neighborhood have probably had work done in their basement. So ask people who have had to see if anybody's had work done and how did they like working with those people. So notice that that's how you can get it done. Much like me as a coach, I show up. I am trustworthy because I'm on time. I have testimonials from my previous clients when they no longer start to coach with me because I don't want people to coach with me for forever. I want them to learn the skills and then practice them for the rest of their lives. But there's a testimonials page right there. If you're thinking of working with me, of what other people have said about what it was like to work with me. So you begin to say she's trustworthy. She does what she says. Other people have found good work. To me, it's trustworthy for me to show up on time, to have a schedule and adhere to it. So, beginning trust is a big thing, trusting the other person to do the right work. I'm thinking of the basement people. Now, our basement guy was like, "Well, I can do the concrete and I don't do the." So, Lori, you were asking, um, you were asking about what we're getting done. So here's what we're getting done. We had really quickly crappy asbestos tiles from the 80, the 90s. What am I talking about? The 50s that were all in a miserable mess. They were not all sealed and whatever. And so we have somebody skim coating that with concrete. And then when that dries, we're going to have that stuff that you put in garages, like the little fleckily stuff. What is it? I can't remember what you call it, but they're going to put a coating on it so it stays neat and it encases that stuff. So it's easier and smoother and nicer looking. And if we ever need to sell the house, it's going to be there. Now, here's an interesting thing. Kimmy says, was it very expensive? I will share this with you. Expensive is a relative term. Expensive, expensive. And again, with coaching, it depends on what you're getting. What's the value to you? Now, my expensive could you be your cheap, and my cheap could be your expensive. It depends on a lot of factors. So it is thousands of dollars. I will give you that much, right? But that takes into account the fact that our basement is the square footage of the entirety of our house because I live in a ranch house and we have a basement that's the square same footprint. Also, it depends on where you live. Also, it depends on who you work with. Some people charge more than others, but are they trustworthy or are you going to trust that they do a good job? You know? So notice your internal calibration of expensive. it is a relative term that starts in your head and your heart. Whoa, that's way too much. I'm not going to spend it. Now, what we have learned is we did not do this work for 20 years in this house. But every time we went down the basement, we were like, damn, we got to do something. Damn, we got to do that. We got to do it. We got to do it. And then it was like, okay, you say for every year that we didn't do it, if we had socked away a certain amount of money, it wouldn't have been that much money a little bit at a time. Coming up with it right away is different. But luckily, we found a way to do it. Okay. So for me, the money we are spending is worth it. To never have to go down the basement, instead of going, ugh, I'll walk down the basement and go, ah. To also know that we're not going to get cancer from the asbestos tiles. Now, I think that's highly unlikely. But also, what if we needed to suddenly sell the house? Who knows? We would have needed to spend that money for that basement in order to sell it because nobody would buy it. We stupidly bought when we were babies, we bought this house and it was for sale by owner. We didn't know that we could have probably had him do that and said, we won't buy it until then. You learn, you live and you learn. When you know better, you do better. And so, what we've realized too with this house is we want to be here for a while. So, why not invest in it now and enjoy it while we're here and have it better prepared if we decide to sell the house? Okay. So, I share that specific story with you to say start sooner rather than later. Don't start the decluttering because you have to move out of your house. Start your decluttering sooner rather than later so you can just enjoy living in your house. Every room of your house you can enjoy, not just a couple of rooms and then you've got the pitch and ditch room. This room that I'm in right now with the sunlight coming through and the bright colors, this used to be not only the pitch and ditch room, which means when people were coming over, we'd shove stuff in it and close the door to give the appearance that we were decluttered, but it also was cluttered even when I cleaned it out. Yeah. Yep. And Kelly Smith, we kind of did the same thing. So she says, my parents bought a house unseen. So do not buy a house unseen, everybody. Do not do it. The house was built over spring, so the basement constantly flooded. Us too. We had to spend about 10 years ago when we decided we were going to stay in this house. We needed to spend thousands of dollars getting a French drain put in because it was flooding. And the flooding caused the tiles to pop. Now, again, you learn from your prior decisions. I bet your parents' story is making you a lot more mindful, Kelly, of what to look for when you buy a house. Now, my story and Kelly's parents' story may encourage all y'all to be like, "Oh, mental note, if I am moving into a house that has a basement, I should probably check to see if there's water damage." Now, the guy allegedly disclosed it to us, but again, we did not know. We were just 20 years ago, people. But with knowledge, with experience comes wisdom. And wisdom is just knowledge that helps you do better the next time, right? I have learned from my decisions in the past. I almost said mistakes, and I have done things differently the next time. The next time we buy a house, if there's a next time, we could age out of this. We could be waked out of this house for all I know. But learning from what you did in the past. What worked well, do it again. What didn't work out, what could you do differently next time? Yeah. And notice, Kelly, you tried to tell them, but they didn't listen. It fell on deaf ears. You know that saying? It fell on deaf ears. That's kind of what me doing coaching, not even necessarily coaching, because coaching is not deaf ears. When I do one on one coaching with somebody, that is somebody who has said, I am open to. I am opening my ears to receive the knowledge that you have because I know that if I keep my ears closed and do the same thing, I'm going to end up in the same place. But a lot of times when I do TikTok lives and YouTube lives, I don't know if the ears are open or closed. I hope they're open. And I know the people who show up on YouTube have a lot more open ears and minds and hearts and are more willing to change what they've done in the past than the random people that just kind of are going by and checking me out on TikTok. And I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm cool with that because that's why I show up on TikTok to get the word out to the people who are willing, who are ready to hear something different because what they've been doing the same hasn't been working out like they want it to. So I say this to you too, even with your ears open right now. Just notice. Noticing is a wonderful thing. What do you do on a daily basis that gets you the result you want? Yay! Write those things down because there are things you do well that give you the result you want. What are the things you do on a daily basis that don't really work out, give you what you want? Notice those too and experiment with doing something different. Now you won't get it right the first time. Notice, even using a habit tracker for Judy and many people, and thank you, Judy, for saying you appreciate that you have the times posted for your lives. Thank you. I know for me, if I was following somebody, I wouldn't want to just run across them randomly. I'd want to make a plan to meet up with them, much like making a plan to meet up with your friends. So I do that um, because it works for me, and I'm glad it works out for you. So notice that you won't get it right the first time. We don't expect to be perfect the right time. What you're doing is you are practicing, you are playing, you are iterating, you are experimenting, all of those fun things. Even using a habit tracker can be different. And then noticing that, oh, you know what? Where I put it there, it didn't work. So let me move it. Not to say, oh, it didn't work, right? Being open and willing to change and change for whatever you determine is your better. I don't know what's better for you, but hopefully you're learning because sometimes you learn by comparison. I learned that it was so important for me to trust a mate because I was married previously to a liar. And I did not realize at the time how much when you don't trust somebody that it affects so many other parts of your life. So I learned something different next time. Instead of shutting down, which I did for a while, I'm never getting married again. Screw that, blah, blah, blah. They're all men suck. What I realized was not all men suck, just my ex husband. And even he had good qualities, but truthfulness was not one of them. It was important for me to work with somebody, to get married to, or even have a relationship, or even just be friends with, or hang around with, or foster relationships with people I felt were trustworthy. When I know people are liars, I shut them off because they are not worthy of my time. What's that old song? You ain't worth the salt in my tears. So notice what's important to you and get more of that in your life. And sometimes you get more of it in your life by pushing out what isn't it, by distancing yourself from the liars, the people that are saying something to you that when you verify the sources, it doesn't add up. And they're only saying it because there's something in it for them, the lying. I don't care why it works for them. I just know it doesn't work for me. And bye bye. Right. So notice yourself. Are you lying to yourself? Oh, I'm going to do that this weekend. And then you don't do it this weekend. Right. Get curious why you don't do what you say you're going to do. Don't beat yourself up about it, but learn from it because you can never get away from yourself. You can distance yourself from external liars. You can turn down the volume on the president and Elon Musk and all the people that are lying out there for their benefit. You can do things to distance yourself from external people you don't trust. How about inside? Learning to trust yourself, learning to trust your instincts, whatever age you are. I don't care how old you are. Follow through on what you say you're going to do for yourself. If you don't beat yourself up. Get curious about it. What was it about what you promised that caused you to not show up? Maybe you said, I'm going to kick the world's ass this weekend, and it seemed too big and overwhelming. So you didn't even try and you didn't even start. It is a journey worth taking to learn to trust yourself. Now, I didn't follow through. I did not get the email out, the tickets made, the products. There's a lot of behind the scenes that I need to do in order to get like the declutter parties live and to schedule the TikToks and all that. And there was something else too. Oh, the consultations, all of that stuff. I said it was going to be ready for May 1st, but I also knew I had plans the day previously and things came up. But what I did was I was flexible with myself. And so I did get everything done on May 1st and I got it out to you. I did not say this will drop at midnight, but also you guys know to trust me that if I say what I'm going to do, I will do it. I may not be exactly on that hot minute, you know, but I trusted myself to say, you know what? I am not going to, it is going to be so much more difficult for me to do that project at the end of the day than it is for me to get up early and work on it in the morning. So I'm going to get up early in the morning and I'm going to work on it. And I did that. I trusted myself to follow through at a time that it would be easier. So maybe you scheduled something for a time of day that you're exhausted. Maybe you scheduled too much work for the energy you had. Maybe you overpromised and then you ended up under providing, as we would say back in retail. Okay. So notice where you are setting yourself up for success or you're setting yourself up for disappointment. So set yourself up, set the bar low. This is one of the reasons why we are in the decluttering parties. It's not an all day event and it's an hour and a half for the most part. The beginning is sharp, the end is kind of fuzzy because I'll hang out with people if we want to hang out. However, even within that hour and a half, an hour and a half of solid decluttering can be exhausting. So we chunk it down into 3 20-minute sections. So you get the practice of chunking down and starting again. Yeah, maybe I needed more chocolate or I just needed more time because I am an early bird. But I'll always say yes to chocolate. So notice that chunking it down, learning how to start small, but just starting, trusting yourself to show up can help you. Sometimes paying a ticket. If it's a free ticket, you may be bailing out on yourself. Whatever. But if you pay money for a ticket to a show, to a ticket to a declutter party, you may be more likely to show up. Notice how money can change how you show up. Money changes your decision making process. The absence of money changes your decision making process. Just notice that. Notice how to get started and this is especially for my ADHD people, trusting yourself to learn how to shift gears. Saying I'm going to work for a chunk and then I'm going to stop. And then I'm going to trust myself that even after I stop, I can start again. And then stopping and then starting again. It's like learning how to shift when we all learned how to drive a stick shift car. Learning how to start to get back into first gear, to start up again after you've started. Doing things in little chunks. Those are life skills. I applied that process not only to decluttering, not only for me getting ready the May schedule, but also doing my taxes this year. For me to help my mother declutter, chunking it down, saying I was going to be there when I was going to be there, chunking it down, and then honoring when I was getting exhausted and knowing when it was time to stop and take a break, and another time when it was time to stop and be done for the day. I am learning these things about myself and it's making it easier. So that's why I show up to help you remind yourself. Trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. And how you do that is by practice, is making a promise to yourself and showing up for that promise, and making another promise to yourself and showing up for that promise, and becoming a person worthy of your own trust. Notice when you promise something to yourself and you break that promise. Are you more likely to break promises to yourself than to other people? Notice that having somebody else involved increases the likelihood for you to show up. So if that's something that motivates you, that's another reason why decluttering parties or a buddy system can be, you know? Oh, good. Mary Lou, or excuse me, yeah, Mary Lou. I'm glad that this is helping you. Really needed to hear these words. Because this is why I'm a decluttering life coach. I'm not just, oh, just get rid of the stuff you don't want and make it look pretty. There's bullshit. Yes, that's part of it, but you can't even get to there until you show up and start making decisions about what you want and what you don't want. And even before the decision making process is literally carving out a chunk of time and showing up at that time to do it. Trusting, trusting, trusting. Trusting yourself. And in coaching, they talk about that. It's like a kind of a triangle. Trusting yourself to do it, trusting your coach, and trusting the process. So I show up in my two-thirds of this scenario by being a trustworthy coach, and I 100% trust my process, no questions. And everybody who's used the process, you know, has seen, oh, it works when I use it. When I show up to do it and I trust the person who gave me that and I do it, it works, you know? So notice where you're not trusting yourself, and that's okay. You may not have been trustworthy in the past. You can be different now. You can practice very small incrementally. Just like, somebody says Weight Watchers. Oh, yeah, like when you're on Weight Watchers, you're paying, so you show up and do the program. It's exactly like that, Stacy. It really is. And decluttering is very much like losing weight. It is. I could equip, it's the same on so many levels. It's not just about losing the weight, it's about maintenance. It's about changing your habits so you're no longer a cluttered person, that you start living a life of a less cluttered person. If you think all it about is losing weight and getting to a point and stopping and not changing your habits, it will gain back up again. So anybody who's ever here tried to lose weight, me, since God damn it, since I was probably 11 years old until seriously almost 60. So I have plenty of practice in that mindset. Notice how that could be overlaid onto your own clutter. Clutter is stuff you don't want. Fat on your body is something you don't want. How do you do that? By bringing in things that may be good at the short term, but long term, it's not serving you. How can you stop doing that and start doing something else, but also not feel like you're in a lack and a denial? I'll never be able to have chocolate again. No, screw that. Sometimes you need help with things. And I will say with you, decluttering, I'm a life coach. Weight loss is different. Sometimes weight loss, it's physical. So sometimes you would be helped by medicine, GLP-1s, trizepatides, I think they're called. Yeah. Sometimes you need help to get to where you want to, and that's okay. Sometimes you can do everything you're trying to do on your own and it still ain't working. I know that from many levels. Getting help. Getting help to take a migraine away. Getting help to lose some weight when your body doesn't want to do it. Ain't nothing wrong with asking for help and getting it. One of the bravest things you can do in your life is to let down your guard and say to yourself, I can't do this alone. I need help. And then, even braver, is asking for the help. That's why I show up as a helper, as a coach. When I was struggling with weight loss, I went to my doctor and I said, this is affecting so many levels of my life. I am miserable, even though so many things are good, this one part. And she said, here, this may help you. And I said, thank you. I'm so glad I asked for help. And when she said, yes, I can help you, I burst into tears in the doctor's office. She gave me a hug. I needed a hug because I was afraid. I had fear that I was going to ask for help and she was going to say no. But I asked anyway. And guess what? The answer was, yes, I can help you. I show up as a yes, I can help you to people who are ready to change and have tried it on their own and it ain't working. Okay. So I know what it's like on so many different levels. So that's why I show up the way I do, to say, yes, I can help you. And also, frankly, if we do a one on one coaching consultation and you may be doing something that you need a surgeon for, and I'm just a GP, if you are dealing with something that's outside of my scope of expertise, I will, with love, let you know that and try to help you find the surgeon, find the person who can help you with where you are. But 9 times out of 10, when I do a consultation with somebody for one on one coaching to just make sure we're a good fit, that what you're struggling with is something that me and the way I do my coaching can help you get to where you want to go. Because that's where we both want. We both want to get to your destination. 9 times out of 10, it's like, yes, let's do this. And so you know that I'm available to do that. Now, I don't want to turn this into a commercial about one on one coaching, but I will say if you're doing things by yourself and it ain't working, there is help out there. There is help out there. Now, I do what I do, how I do it. I do my coaching a certain package, it's a certain price, it's whatever. That works for me and it works for many of my clients. Hopefully, it works for you if you want to do one on one coaching. But if it doesn't, I don't make you feel bad about it. I don't judge you. I say, I get it. But what I also want to offer to you too is could you make it work? Is your backseat driver immediately saying, I can't do that? I can't commit to 10 weeks. Ooh, that's too expensive. I can't. What if something comes up? There are certain things I'm so flexible about. But also, I know because one on one coaching is a commitment. So I try to make it easy, you know? But enough of that. Enough about me. Enough about the one on one coaching. You know that. You know I'm available, that there are consultations, stuff like that there. And pretty much, honestly, decluttering life coaching one on one is pretty much like this with just a whole bunch of other people not in the room. So it's just you and me, kid, right? And it's not even me, it's me listening to you to hear where you could do something different. You may not know what you could do different. I listen like a mofo. I'm a wicked good listener because I'm listening for opportunities to change something that could be just the one little change that could have a positive ripple effect along the way. Okay. So that being said, I'm looking at my my clock is a minute off here. So it is 9:58 a.m. Eastern. We've got 2 minutes and then I'm going to sign off. And then the neat thing is you're going to have this recording to fall back on and listen to again and again and again and again anytime you want. All right. It's going to be on. That's one thing I do need to do is create the May playlist. And the TikTok lives, I will be then downloading and uploading there too. So there's going to be pretty much double, the resources available recorded and live for this month. Now, again, this is one of the reasons why I do the secret page. And again, there may be some newbies here. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach. My coaching is called Destination Decluttered. If you want to find out the next time I am showing up for a YouTube live and a TikTok live, there is a schedule. But the schedule is only for the people who say, I'm interested enough to sign up for a free mailing list. And you sign up for the free mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com and you find out the next time I'm doing a TikTok live and a YouTube live. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I want you to practice looking at the schedule too. Because this is the thing. If you want to change your life, you have to do different things. So signing up for a mailing list is a baby step. Getting the email and clicking on the page that shows you a plethora of resources that you can take advantage of. You don't need to take advantage of all of them at the same time, but you can know the next day I'm doing a TikTok live and a YouTube live and the days and times. You would know how to sign up for a declutter party. Declutter parties, you guys, this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. There are resources and help available, but I cannot convince you. I don't want to spoon feed you this. I want you to show up for yourself and take these baby steps so that you learn that you can do something, that you are the one taking baby steps. Even think of that concept of baby steps. You can't walk a kid. You can for a little bit. They need to learn to take one step, another step. So you took a step right now in just showing up for this YouTube live. Another step, if you haven't taken it yet, is to sign up for the mailing list. If you have signed up for the mailing list, your next step will always be to practice getting to the secret page. If you don't know how to do it, let me know. But I always put the link in the emails, and getting in the habit of checking that and seeing what the schedule are and reminding yourself that there's help out there so you don't have to do it alone. Okay? Now, I just went over a minute. So there we go. All right. Thank you very much for everybody who's showing up. Becky and Michelle and Cheryl and everybody and Penny. I'm not going to, romper room myself, but I look forward to seeing as many of you who want to show up for the declutter parties this weekend. I look forward to hanging out with you on my Saturday and my Sunday. Okay. If you can't make it, no harm, no foul. But if you can, experiment with it. It just might be the thing you need. Okay. I'll see you guys this weekend and maybe next week for a couple days before I go traveling again. Bye. I'm going to end stream. Yep. There we go. And